whips that one away, and how appropriate that Ross Taylor and Kane Williamson are there for this moment, for this team. It's a story that's akin to David versus Goliath. Congratulations to New Zealand, and thanks to India for being such a big part of a great test.
Hello and welcome to Crickpedia, and we are finally back after a rather long final, but a one that you just can't miss. Let's quickly breeze through this last few days that have gone in this World Test Championship final. You saw everything. You saw rain on day one, which was a terrible start to a big final like this. People criticized that why is the final being placed in England and why not anywhere else. But for their information, the fact is that everywhere it was raining at the same time. To be honest, you cannot keep the final in India. You could not have kept it in New Zealand because it had to be a neutral venue. You could not even have kept it in West Indies because it was raining there as well. And certainly you could not keep it in Australia because they aren't allowing so many international travellers at the moment. And that's the reason England was the choice. And well, it was told in advance to everybody that they are going to keep it at Lord's. But then it had to be shifted to Southampton. But in the end, overall, it was held in England. And we are very lucky. After all those rain kind of days, we still found a result and we did find a champion. It was the New Zealand team. What happened? How did it start? The match actually started on day 2 because it was washed out on day 1. And India came into bat after losing the toss because Kane Williamson said that the pitch is green, it's cloudy, it's going to be pretty moist throughout the next few days. Let's send in the Indian batsmen. Let's test them with the kind of swing bowlers we have. And traditionally, Indian batsmen have struggled against swing bowling. So that's why this choice was just perfect. Now, how did India start their first innings? A great start by the openers. Both Rohit and Shubman Gill were playing aggressive shots. They were enforcing on the bowlers some good cricket. And then you had two really good Indian experienced batsmen. Your captain and vice captain scored 40s each, and both kind of steadied the ship for India. And India was looking for a big total, around 300. But then what happened? An old Indian problem haunted them in the final as well. The tail, 8, 9, 10, 11. Could just not contribute at all. The total amount of runs was around 1/3 of what New Zealand's 8, 9, 10, 11 scored, and that's the reason this was a big issue in India just managing to reach 217 in their first innings. Then the New Zealand side came out. What did they do in reply to that 217 posted by India? Their openers played well, good solid start. They were around 101 for 2 at the end of day 3, and after that, all of a sudden they slipped. And they lost wickets in quick succession. But what has been New Zealand's strength throughout this World Test Championship? It's that their 8, 9, 10, 11 have contributed most amongst all teams who have taken part in this cycle. And that's the reason they recovered. And from a very horrible position, their 8, 9, 10, 11 added, if you take a total of their scores, they added around more than 60, 70 runs. And that's the reason New Zealand ended up scoring 249 runs in their first innings, taking a lead of 32. By the end of New Zealand's first innings, we are already through to tea on day 5. Remember, we have a reserve day as day 6, where the match is going to continue. So that's where New Zealand, you already are done with 2 innings, India's first innings and New Zealand's first innings, and you're already through tea at day 5. You need to complete 2 innings within 4 sessions. Can you do that? Everybody said the match is going to end in a draw because India is going to bat well. They're not going to let New Zealand win this because the only 2 possibilities that were left by then were that New Zealand win it or the match ends in a draw, because India actually needed a miracle to win it. The openers came out for the last session on day 5, tried to survive, but they couldn't. India ended on 64 for 2 at day 5, leading by 32 runs going into the reserve day. You have Virat Kohli and Cheteshwar Pujara batting. Both tried their best, but eventually were knocked over by a fantastic bowler in the form of Kyle Jamieson, who has been an absolute upcoming superstar in the past few months in international cricket. And he did it again on the big stage. He knocked over Virat Kohli and Cheteshwar Pujara. Their dismissals may disappoint you because both of them tried to play outside the line and both of them got out. Well, it is what had happened, and this is what happened, and that's the reason India were actually bowled out for 170 because actually nobody could stand up from that Indian batting lineup in that second innings of theirs, and that set a very decent target for New Zealand, and that's just of 139, in which they were tremendously happy to receive. And that's what they did. Both the openers again started solidly, both scoring runs, both confidently playing. And then Ravichandran Ashwin came in to bowl for India. Knocked over both those openers. You had Latham getting stumped, you had Conway getting LBW, and then New Zealand's most experienced partnership of Kane Williamson and Ross Taylor were on the crease. It was from then on, India didn't have any chance. Yeah, you can say that Chiteshwar Pujara dropped one catch when New Zealand needed around 50 runs. That could have changed things, but I feel it was a tad too late, and that's the reason New Zealand's most experienced pair saw them through. And how cool and how defining is that this New Zealand side, who had a horrible 2019 World Cup final, got their perfect revenge on this big ICC stage, and they are winning an ICC trophy after 21 years. The last time they won it was the Champions Trophy in 2000. Let's do a small report card session for the last few days. I've selected 4 players from India and 4 players from New Zealand and rating them out of 10 on how they performed in this big mega event. It's not necessary that I've selected players who have done well. I've also selected players who's, you expect them to do well. Let's start from the Indian perspective. The first big name, Virat Kohli, captain of India. How many times do you see Virat Kohli's name popping up in a scorecard where he's not scored runs? Not many times. It's happened from the last 2 years haven't been great for Virat Kohli. And unfortunately, this Test Championship final was nothing different. He scored 44 in the first innings, then a very small score of 13 in the second innings. And that's why Virat Kohli, the batsman, he'll get, I think, 5 out of 10. It's unfortunate, but I know he's going to bounce back because he is a tremendous champion. What about Mohammad Shami? Very important player for India. Many people didn't want to even take him in this World Test Championship final because they thought that he's not going to swing the ball. He doesn't swing the ball that much as the other bowlers do. But he did perform. In that first innings, he was brilliant. Getting 4 wickets and in quick succession, making India believe that they can still win that match. And that's why Mohammad Shami, I'm giving him a 7.5 out of 10. What about Jasprit Bumrah? Another very big name. Everybody expected Bumrah to take wickets, be the man who makes India win this World Test Championship. What did Bumrah do? Wicketless in both innings. Not something you expect from Bumrah, not on this big stage. I know he was unfortunate with the drop catch, but I don't think that could have changed a lot. Well, Bumrah out of 10, I'm going with 4, 3, 4, let's go with 4. I know he's again a very big champion, he's going to bounce back. Stay tuned to watch his performances go up again. What about Ravichandran Ashwin? Fantastic spinner. Every time India thought that they're out in the game, Ravichandran Ashwin would give them a wicket. In this final as well, Ashwin was somebody India looked up to, and he did deliver at crunch moments. And that's why for Ashwin, I'm going with again 7.5. He was brilliant. Now the 4 New Zealanders. Let's start with their captain, Kane Williamson. How good was he in this final? He was good. He scored 49 in the first innings, then he scored an excellent 50 in the second innings to see his side through to this World Test Championship final as winners. And that's the reason Kane Williamson gets 8.5. And with his batting, his captaincy was brilliant, and that's why 8.5 is just perfect for a player like Kane Williamson. What about Tim Southee? He wasn't that great in the first innings. He was not taking wickets that often. He actually got wickets quite late in the first innings, and that was not really making any difference to what India did. But the second innings champion of Tim Southee rose within him, and he came back in style and actually troubled the Indian top order, got both the openers, came in the middle, cleaned up the tail, and that's why Tim Southee deserves a 7 out of 10 for his performance and the kind of comeback he made in the second innings. What about Devin Conway? Third test match of his test career. Scored a 200 in his first test match, scored a 80 in his second test match, and he's again backed it up with a 50 in his third test match. How good was he? He was brilliant. But the dismissal in the second innings was something I didn't expect from Devin Conway. I felt he could have done better. He could have laid a good foundation while New Zealand were chasing that score. But it's just his third test match, so we can be a little lenient. I'm going with 8 out of 10 for Devin Conway. What about the superstar man of the match performer, Kyle Jamieson? 8th test match, 5th 5-wicket haul, excellent numbers. And getting the crucial wickets of Kohli and Pujara in the second innings, setting up the match for New Zealand. so that they can be crowned winners. Kyle Jamieson was such an important part of this test match, and that's why he receives a 9 from me for this test match. He's been superb, and I expect to see a lot from him in the coming years, and he is an absolute upcoming superstar in test match cricket. Do watch him, because he will actually excite you when he comes onto the field. Let's summarize this World Test Championship. What was it all about? We've always had ODI World Cups and T20 World Cups, but this World Test Championship was way more in importance in comparison to ODI and T20 World Cups, because Test cricket was slowly dying down. Many modern day cricketers have said that they want Test cricket to live up. As Virat Kohli said, he loves Test cricket, he wants it, and ICC found out this way of actually making every Test match count. You get points for every Test match you play in a 2-year cycle, and that's where everything changed. And that's the reason this 2-year cycle from 2019 to 2021 made Test cricket so much more important. Every team was looking to send their best players in the arena to win Test matches, to get points, to earn points for every match they play. And that is why Test cricket has regained its importance in international cricket. And if you have a final with the finest 2 teams competing, it makes it so much more enthralling. Who was the best batsman throughout this World Test Championship? By far it was Manas Labuschagne, scoring 1,675 runs. Was just superb. He was by far the best batsman in this World Test Championship. Who was the best bowler in this World Test Championship? You could argue between Ravichandran Ashwin from India, highest wicket taker with 71 wickets, and on the other side you had Pat Cummins with 70 wickets. Both of them are phenomenal. I feel you cannot differentiate between both those players. I give them 50-50 as the best bowlers of this World Test Championship. The World Test Championship is again on its way from 2021 to 2023. Stay tuned for every Test series, because every Test series from now on counts. If you enjoy this cricketing fun, do like, share and comment. And to know more about my upcoming videos, do subscribe Crickpedia and hit the notification bell. Thank you.